everyone. Welcome to Inside Winston Cup Racing. Today, we're just outside the Sears Point Raceway, a road course in Northern California in the Sonoma Valley. Beautiful countryside here, and this is where they held the Save Mart 300 this past weekend. We'll have highlights of that and much more in this half hour of Inside Winston Cup Racing.
There were 6 caution flags in all here in Sonoma, California for the Save Mart 300, including one that set up a one-lap sprint, and Jeff ProNyne missed the caution and missed all the wrecks all day long. Came home to pick up his first victory of the 1993 season. We'll have all the action from the Save Mart 300 from Sonoma, California, coming up.
Jeff's win in Sonoma adds to a growing list of triumphs as a driver on the Winston Cup circuit. Next year, he plans to take that one step further by purchasing Alan Kowicki Racing. We'll talk to Jeff about his career and his outlook as a future owner.
We'll also make a stop just outside Los Angeles, California. We'll go to Wheelwood Brakes and show you how high technology stops Winston Cup cars at high speed.
Coming into the Save Mart 300 here at the Sears Point Road Course, a lot of speculation went on about Rusty Wallace. Would he be able to drive on the road course with his injured wrist? Well, certainly he qualified the car, and just before the race, Randy had an opportunity to talk to him. Here's that conversation, other news, and the highlights of the Save Mart 300.
Rusty, how's the wrist, and are you confident that you can go the distance? You all right?
Wrist feels good. I got my deal all fixed up, and I feel confident I can go to distance. Car's running great. Just talked to Chris. What do you think? Man, they've got a great car. He said, as long as that old driver can hang in there. So I feel good about it. I'm ready. It's
okay.
Just, man, I can't let this thing get me behind. I got to win this title.
Okay, hang in there, bud. Have a good run. Okay, Rusty Wallace had a great qualifying effort. He qualified the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac in the 6th position. But during qualifying, it was Dale Earnhardt. He picked up his 2nd straight road course pole with a new track record. Other drivers weren't as fortunate here at Sears Point. Brett ProNyne crashed his Quaker State Ford, had to go to a backup car. Likewise, Tommy Kendall wrecked the Alan Kowicki Ford Thunderbird. During first round of qualifying, he had to go to a backup car. Jeff Gordon qualified the DuPont Chevrolet in the first round, but yet he got in an accident as well, had to go to a backup car. Gordon would have to start at the tail end of the field.
Today's Winston Cup highlights are brought to you by Texaco Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Dale Earnhardt led the field of 43 to turn 1 on the twisty 11-turn road course with Ricky Rudd, Jeff ProNyne, and Ernie Irvin in hot pursuit. Dale, a non-race winner in his Winston Cup career on road courses, kept the field in check for the first 16 circuits on the Sears Point Raceway. Jeff ProNyne drove into the lead on lap 17 in tight turn 11, and he managed to maneuver without mistake for the next 7 laps. Mark Martin made the same move on Dale Earnhardt a couple of laps later to take over 2nd. Then he made the move for the lead, but lost it. That set the trend for some spins and crashes over the next 50 circuits. Harry Gant recovered from this pirouette to finish 19th, but others weren't so lucky. Dale was back out front when Jeff Davis drove into the dirt in the S's with 30 to go. Lap 53. On the restart, Derek Cope flipped Tommy Kendall, both on the tail end of the lead lap. The wreck collected race leader Dale Earnhardt, ruining his chances for a first ever road course victory. Mark Martin lost oil pressure and went to the garage on lap 57. Then Wally Dellenbach and Brett ProNyne collided in turn 2. Here, Terry Labonte and Bill Elliott get together in the S's, sending the field scattering. No caution, no foul. Rusty Wallace would retire with a broken transmission with 10 laps to go. And it was then that Jeff ProNyne was trying to hold off Ricky Rudd. He went from the lead to 3rd and back to the front, all in turn 11. One last yellow flew for Dorsey Schrader and Bobby Labonte as they bumped coming off of turn 7. The race restarted with 1 lap to go. Kyle Petty was looking for room under Dale Jarrett for 5th, but it wasn't there. He clipped Dale, and Dale in turn collected up Davey. They would finish 13th and 15th. Petty would finish 5th. ProNyne had to hold off Rudd and Irvin for the win. Jeff was able to hold off Ricky, but Ricky was unable to hold off Ernie. And that's the way they came to the stripe. Jeff ProNyne bagging his 14th Winston Cup career win, his first road course win since 1984.
We really worked hard for this race. We put a lot of thought into it and then went out there and executed. You need to do all of that. The team did a great job in the pits. But it was special because Kathy and I bought the the 7 team last week, and this was the first week as a driver and a car owner, and really wanted to do well, wanted to make that Foley's victory lap in honor of Alan, and that made it really special. We're going to miss Alan.
Well, the road course is certain to give the drivers a challenge. They'll be back at Charlotte this weekend and next weekend. We need to take a short break right now. When we come back, we'll talk to Jeff Bodine, who has become a car owner. And as we leave you for this break, here's the balance of the finishing order for the Save Mart 300. After weeks of negotiation on the Alan Kulwicki racing team, a deal has been worked out with Jeff Bodine and his corporation, JEB Incorporated. That corporation will manage Alan Kulwicki Racing for the balance of the 1993 season, and then after the season is over, they will take over as ownership of the team. And while we were here at Sears Point, Randy had an opportunity to sit down and talk to Jeff about his career and becoming a car owner.
You've been thinking about owning a race team, I guess, for a long time, I would imagine.
I mean, a long time ago, you know, I wanted to be a race driver. When I was a little kid growing up, I'd be a race driver. Never thought about ever being a car owner. Just wanted to be a driver. But the opportunity presented us here about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago to get involved with this number 7 team. I wish it had never had happened that way, but it did. We decided to investigate, to look into the possibility of putting in an offer for the team. Went down to talk with the team members. Already knew, really, I mean, they were the kind of guys I liked to work for, because after Alan was killed in the crash, they all stayed together. They didn't just walk out the door and find other jobs. They stayed with that team, you know, hoping someone would come along and take it over and keep it going. And so that showed the kind of character those fellas have. They really were very dedicated to the team and Alan Kulwicki.
At 44, Jeff expects to continue driving for the next 6 years. Starting next season, he'll be pushing the pedal, paying the salaries, and searching for success as an owner-driver. For him, car owning is just a continuation of a successful family career in racing, one that he's thankful for every day. Reflecting back on your career or life, if we might look at it that way, are you amazed at yourself for what you've been able to accomplish? I mean, a short-track modified racer, I mean, you're very, very successul up in the Northeast Modifieds. A lot of people know that, if not everyone. But, I mean, your brothers, being able to be as successful as you are. Looking back on it, did you ever have any idea that you guys could achieve what you've achieved? Because you're there in a tremendously popular sport and all doing very well.
No, every day I wake up, I'm very thankful for what's happened. Sometimes it's easy to forget how lucky we are, but, you know, back when we started, it was just a hobby, you know, racing around little short tracks. Yeah, we made a few bucks and we were able to put food on the table, but we had fun. And now it really is a big business, and sometimes it's hard to have fun, but we're still trying. You know, business sometimes takes the fun out of it, but we still do have fun, but we are very lucky. And with my brothers coming up in the sport, with the success they got in front of them, you know, my mother and father operated a racetrack for many, many years. Racing has been in our family for a long, long while, since 1949 actually, and it's been very good to our family. So whatever happens from here on out is we'll still be very thankful for what we've had up till now.
Jeff ProNyne's career has been filled with plenty of successes, a few failures, and some controversy. But such is the case with anyone in any sport that seeks to be the best. And with each that achieves and succeeds at a high level, there is always a common thread: dedication, desire, and determination. Jeff ProNyne has all three.
I have to have that enthusiasm when I go out to race, that I want to win, that, you know, you have that feeling. It's like trying to win your first race, or like when I was in Daytona in '86, trying to win that 500. If you don't have that enthusiasm, that adrenaline flowing, it's going to be hard to win. So when they drop the checkered flag and you're the guy that gets it first, you know, it all comes out. I'm really excited and jump up and down and scream, and just like it's my first win.
After this break, we'll make a stop at Willwood Brakes and bring you up to speed on what slows down a 3,500-pound Winston Cup stock car.
We were simulating what the brakes do at Martinsville, Virginia. That race is the toughest race in the whole universe, the whole world, to stop race cars.
We'll have all the action from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. One hot night as the stars and cars run under the lights. The sparks will fly when the Winston Cup drivers do battle in the Winston Open and the Winston.
The NASCAR Busch Series is also in action over the All-Star weekend. We'll see how the points battle shapes up after the running of the Laneco 200 in Nazareth, Pennsylvania.
In the summer of '94, Winston Cup racing makes its debut at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The Brickyard 400 means a new beginning for NASCAR and a new look for Indy. We'll talk with Speedway President Tony George about its track, its tradition, and its challenge of racing into tomorrow.
Most of the time when we think about race cars, we think about horsepower and speed and what makes them go fast. We don't think too much about what slows them down, but I'll tell you, it's very important to get them slowed down, especially on short tracks and road courses. And in recent years, there's been a lot of technology come about in brakes. So this week, we take a look at some of that technology.
Just outside of Los Angeles, California, in a town called Camarillo, sits the site of one of the most important companies involved in Winston Cup racing today, Willwood Brakes. Inside this 30,000 square foot facility, Bill Wood, the founder of Willwood Brakes, along with his 60 employees, constantly assemble, test, and design the most durable brakes in the entire world. Willwood Brakes can be found on everything from Autocat snowmobiles to sprint cars to motorcycles. But it's Winston Cup racing that provides the proving ground for performance of the parts and pieces that put the stop in just about anything that races. Engineer Bill Wood started the company in 1977, and through his research and development, Willwood is becoming one of the hottest braking systems on the circuit. And it all starts with a computer design.
On a Winston Cup car, for instance, we have all the components, the hubs, the wheels, the spindles, the suspension geometry is all programmed into the computer. And it's always there, and then we can take and bring a caliper, you know, a new design of the caliper, and put it up there, see how everything's going to fit. Allows us to make changes very rapidly, and have a pretty good idea how something's going to go together before it ever gets to a race car.
Willwood isn't the only company mounting brakes on Winston Cup cars today, but the speed in which they design, dyno, and deliver new developments is definitely giving them an edge on the competition.
You know, in racing, you're always a day behind, and preparation meets opportunity. They can pretty much handle any kind of customer needs or the special fittings that we need, and they've always got it in stock. And plus, you know, you can ask them anything, and they've always got, well, I know this is going to work for you.
At just about every Cup race you go to, you can find Bill and his staff giving suggestions and getting feedback for improvement on their brakes. Willwood runs 2 shifts at its facility, turning brakes out for just about everyone that races. But it's their Winston Cup brake assemblies that give them their biggest challenge. It's here in the dyno room that through trial and error, the design and development is driven to extremes. The dyno can simulate a 500-lap race on what Bill claims is the toughest track in the world on brakes, Martinsville.
We're going to simulate basically the same speed down the straightaway, the same time braking through the corners, and then back accelerating down the back straightaway.
Wow. Okay, fire it up. After just moments in motion, you get an idea of how difficult it must be to develop brakes for a Winston Cup stock car. Brake temperatures can reach 1,500 to 1,600 degrees, and brake fluid boiling at 550 before chemically breaking down.
That would be a pit stop there. Yeah, it's not unusual to see those actual temperatures in there. That's amazing. The computer has recorded all the temperatures, all the torque, everything that happened during the time we were running that. What the brake torque was at each stop and during the stop, what the rotor temperature was during the stop, what the pad temperatures were.
Well, what happened there? Just visually, what can you see? What's already happened?
Well, you know, you can see there's some buildup on the rotor and a little bit of start of grooving. You probably see more on the back side.
And that's from the pad?
Well, no, what happens is the actual surface of the rotor liquefies and comes off.
Wow.
You know, because the surface, you know, well, the actual surface where the pad's running on is actually several hundred degrees hotter than the rotor itself. The temperature, say, that we're picking up over here with the infrared detector.
The final factory step before sending any brake to any racer is here in the quality control room. But even if the brake is without flaw, it doesn't mean that it can't be improved upon, because technology never stops with brakes, thanks to the best drivers in the world.
They'll figure out that they can go a little deeper, the radial tires, et cetera, et cetera. They'll figure out a way.
There'll always be some sort of, somebody will be coming up with a problem by virtue of pushing it.
No, we've made the ultimate brake for the Winston Cup car at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Today's mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft.
Our question today is from Fina Hopp of Somerset, Pennsylvania. And Fina, I hope I pronounced your name right. The question is, why does the fuel man wear a helmet when the car comes in for a pit stop and no one else does? Well, Fina, for that answer, we'll go to Richard Bostic, who is the gas man for the Dirt Devil Pontiacs, which Kenny Wallace drives.
The reason we wear helmets, Fina, is for the safety purpose, for keeping gas from getting your eyes. If a fire was to break out, then the helmet would be a good safety feature, keeping you from getting your face burnt. I think a few of the other crew members have tried to wear helmets, but for changing tires and everything, they're not able to see, and the helmet's probably pretty awkward to them. But for the gas man, just from this side, it's a good safety feature. Thanks for riding in.
If you have any race questions, write to us at Inside Winston Cup Racing, Box 240-417, Charlotte 28224. If we use your question on the air, you'll receive this embroidered Miller Genuine Draft jacket. You'll also receive a copy of NASCAR Video Magazine's Racing's Toughest Tracks and Turns, one of the latest volumes in the exciting home video series, bringing the NASCAR lifestyle roaring into your living room.
Well, our time's up for today. Hope you enjoyed the show, and you be sure to be with us here next week for more on Inside Winston Cup Racing right here on TNN. We'll see you then.